One of Britain's busiest wildlife rescue and rehabilitation centres is at Leatherhead in Surrey. Simon Cowell leads the team of volunteers.
At Wildlife Aid, during the course of a year, we see many different types of British wildlife. We receive a lot of patients brought in to us by members of the public, but we are often called out to rescue animals from all sorts of situations in the wild. In this episode, we'll see Malcolm's valiant efforts to catch a Canada goose. We'll have an update on the badger I rescued from a foxhole. We'll see how our collection of ducklings is getting on. We'll also see the release of Jan's 2 weasels. And we'll see what happens to a young deer that had been trapped in a barbed wire fence. But first, these are the ducklings which we've seen in previous episodes. They are growing up very fast. And at this stage, they no longer require artificial heat. And so Christine has decided to move them up to one of our nursery pond areas.
Right. Down? Yeah. Oh, what's that over there? So, these are babies. Now, we know there's no pond, but you're not big enough for ponds yet. There you go. Yeah. There are many in there. There you go. Nice and hot. There they are. Oh. Look. Little duckies on the other side. Oh, they say they like to look at that water. Oh.
It is still a little premature for them to be allowed into water, but they are obviously attracted to the pond in the next enclosure. It must be frustrating for these noisy and impatient creatures to be kept away from the water. But it will only be a few days before they can have their first swim. You may remember from the last episode the badger that I rescued from a fox earth. When we took it back to the centre, we found that it had a grazed back, which had probably been caused by a glancing blow from a passing car. The following morning, we decided to move it to one of our large special badger enclosures.
Come on, little one, you're going to like this new place, I promise you. It's important for us to know whether she's eating well. So we're putting in a big set, which A, she can get some movement in and won't be so confined, and also where we can monitor her to see if she's coming out to eat at night, which is very important. Right, we'll just put some new hay in our chamber. Hay in here to last her for a week, like a month, maybe even a lifetime. But they like to make their own nest, so she can disturb it, move it as she wants to.
Once in the enclosure, we deliberately released it into the open run so that we could see how it moved and whether there were any problems. We were delighted that all seemed fine. Hopefully, this would be a short-term rehabilitation for this patient. These are the 2 weasels that Jan has been successfully rearing. It's now time for them to gain their freedom, and Jan had moved their hutch into a field where the release was to take place.
Let's just see if we can get any interest in a mouse.
Jan had been feeding them as natural a food as possible and would continue to supplement their diet until they became self-sufficient.
What we've done here is we've put a piece of wood up, a small whistle-sized exit and entrance down here, and we'll leave a supply of food for them so that if they do want to or need to, they can come back and feed.
This way of releasing orphaned patients is called a soft release. They can still return to the safety of their pen and receive food if necessary. This is in contrast to a hard release, where once back in the wild, they would receive no human support at all. When releasing orphaned animals back into the wild, we try to use predominantly soft release techniques. This gives the animal a far greater chance of survival. Foxes, hedgehogs, deer, badgers and many other creatures are released in this way. I received a call from someone who was working at the side of a quiet road. He had found a young deer caught by its leg in a barbed wire fence.
Well, I just lifted her up and turned it, and we got her off like that.
Excellent.
I mean, she seems pretty fighting fit. She's slowed right down now, though.
Right, we'll bind that leg up for a start and give her a shot of something just to calm her right down so we can transport her.
All right, babes.
A little sweetie.
This leg, right, was bent right up and back here. I mean, whether she's busted it, I don't know.
Right.
Because it's like, you know, it's pretty high, and she was sort of this level, so it's all sticking up this way. No chance.
There's no chance in it. Let's go down.
So what would you do when you release her? Do you bring her back here?
We tend to release them where we can. Obviously, at this age, they would need to go back somewhere far more protected than here,
Right,
to be
this
honest.
is quite a young baby, yeah?
Yeah, this is this year's fawn.
Right,
She's a female.
right. Well, you've learnt about barbed wire now, haven't you?
Put your legs together, sweetheart. All right, darling.
Yeah, we're full of maggots as well.
Oh, maggots or fly eggs? Hang
Well,
on.
fly eggs, yeah. They're going to be maggots.
It only takes a few minutes for a blowfly to find an open wound on an injured animal and to lay its eggs. The resulting maggots can then eat into the animal.
If I give her a lift, that's it. She's in.
That's sweetheart. Great little
Right.
one. It's fine. She can keep her legs free-ish now, which will be better for her.
Yeah.
All right. You like to carry her, shouldn't you? Great.
Right.
Shove her
In
on.
there.
That's it. That's wonderful, yeah.
I was very concerned about the injury to the deer's leg. The blood supply passing the wound would have to be intact if the animal was to stand a chance back in the wild.
Just what the vet thinks of that back leg. As long as there's blood supply going down, we'll be all right. If it's not, we could be in trouble.
Well, it's still dribbling, so
Yeah.
hope for the best.
Keep hoping. Thanks very much.
All right, no
Okay,
worries. Thank
cheers.
The injury to the deer was really quite bad, and so I decided to take it straight back to Joyce, our main volunteer vet, who immediately carried out a thorough examination.
Just popping in and out.
So, I mean, how long she's actually hanging in the fence for, I've no idea. The British Telecom man refused to leave her until somebody came, which is nice of him.
That's good. Right. X-ray time, my sweet.
Right, do you want to have a quick look at that? That might make you make a bigger decision. I don't know. It just depends if there's any blood supply going through it. A very fast pressure bandage on it. Joyce saw for herself the seriousness of the wound on the back leg. The hoof was cold, which meant that there was no blood reaching it. This left us with a very difficult decision.
Sorry, little one.
The answer, isn't it, or not? It is really.
Well, she's never going to run and jump again, are you? That's the problem.
The only medical solution for this poor animal would have been to amputate the leg. Personally, I do not believe we have the right to undertake such intrusive surgery on a wild animal. And in any case, this option would make it impossible for this animal to flee from predators or successfully fend for itself.
It doesn't really work, does it, my sweet?
This is always a heartbreaking decision, and one that is never taken easily. Joyce chose the only realistic option, which was to put this very young deer to sleep. We always say that if the animal can't survive successfully in the wild, then we do what we think is in the best interest of the animal.
The English cricket team took a pounding in the first Test match against Pakistan at Lord's, but we've seen England teams bounce back. They need to badly. The second Test match is at Headingley in Leeds, Joe Root's home patch. Boy, he needs the best of his team. We'll have it for you in just 1 hour on Channel 5 at 7 o'clock on Friday.
Welcome to Club MTV.
Club MTV, the channel that never sleeps. Bringing you the biggest beats and club classics 24/7. With non-stop party hits, dance pop collabs, EDM anthems and urban bangers. 'Cause the weekend never stops. Club MTV all day, every day and available now.
I
I'm Jane McDonald and I'm cruising round the world. Do you want to come on?
Our one and only Wakefield wonder has only won a blooming BAFTA.
Cheers, everyone.
And what better way to celebrate than setting sail with her on My 5?
Hey, Ed, you're in for a treat, baby. I mean, I've been cruising many, many times, but this is the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Cruising with Jane McDonald, available now on my5.tv.
Right, where is the lady? Lady must be somewhere here. I got a call from a lady who was concerned that she had a family of hedgehogs nesting in her garden shed.
See why she chose mine, because it was...
Oh, it's got the gap underneath. And she went up in there. Right. OK.
In such cases, it would be far better if all could be left well alone. But despite our request, she insisted they be removed, as they were awkwardly situated in the entrance of her shed.
I'll be able to open this in a minute.
When moving any baby animal with its parent, it is imperative that no human scent is transferred, so we always wear gloves when we carry out this tricky procedure.
Right, yeah. 1, 2, I can see 3. Quite easy, they're very young still. Right, we'll try and move the whole thing into the bag, into the carrier. Put a tiny bit of straw hay in there, but we'll leave the rest out, otherwise it's going to get too messy in there. They might end up under the bag if you don't want them to stay. That's a cute little thing. Come on, lady. You've got to go with your mum. Go with your mum. Say hello to the mum. Come on. There's another one there for you. Well, we're getting to the centre as quick as we can. Basically, the babies are very, very young and very small. I just hope Mum stays with them. She's very nervous, she's very huffy and growly, and I'm unhappy, really, as to how they're going to go. OK, Mum, let's get you sorted with your babies.
There is always a risk of the mother rejecting her babies when moved or disturbed. She could even eat them, so I had to act quickly.
Right, Mum, how are we going to do this? Are you going to help me do it? Or are you going to be thoroughly awkward? Let's use as much of the old bedding as we can. Great big Mum. There's one baby. Oh, that's sweetheart. Where's your Mum? Hope she doesn't reject them. That's the only worry now.
We must now keep well clear and hope for the best. We would be able to monitor developments via closed-circuit television, but it was important that this family were not disturbed at all in the coming days, apart from putting in food and water once a day.
Have my jacket over her head. Try and keep it quiet for you.
Lovely, brilliant.
Of our many rescues, road traffic accidents are sadly becoming more and more frequent. We had a call from a couple who had seen a deer hit by a passing car. They'd stopped and rung us for help.
On the left flank, she's either going to have a baby or she's had one.
Really?
This was a female roe deer in lactation with superficial wounds. It was important to check for broken bones, and if none, to see if she could stand.
Up on all four. Obviously being flanked down there, but there's no fear of any broken ribs. You'd go back right now, wouldn't it, if you did, girl? Let's go over, George. Let's just see if we do stand her what she does.
Our primary objective is to return the animal to the wild as soon as possible. And if this can be done immediately, that is the best possible solution, especially in this instance where young are involved.
Come on, just think about it.
These type of in-the-field judgment calls are probably the hardest decisions I have to make. to do right for the animal, its condition, and weighing up its medical requirements. These decisions cause me more sleepless nights than anything else.
She's not 100%, but I'd rather her back out there getting herself. She's steadying up now. She's bruised. I mean, she's got some severe bruising. Where's the big light, Georgie? She's either given birth, in which case I really don't want to take her away, or she has given birth, in which case the fawn's out there and she'll know where it is. I mean, she's obviously very stiff. She's been hit quite hard, so she's got some muscle damage. But basically, when she started to run down there, she was getting the use of all four back much better.
It's nylon. Yeah. Some sort, right.
Malcolm and Jeff were called out to help a Canada goose that some people had been watching in their garden. It appeared to have some form of line around its leg and was having trouble walking properly.
It's his left, it's his right leg, just there. You can actually see the wire twisted round it. And it's quite swollen as well at the front. But he's ever so good.
What'd you feed him?
Just brung him some bread. Tell me when you want me to throw the bread.
He had been named Brian by the family, and as they had been supplementing his feed, he was tamer than you would expect. Or was he?
Come on in.
Brian!
Come on, Brian. Good boy. Oh. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Oh. Come on in. Yes, this leg definitely. It was really swollen. Not quite whether it's penetrated the skin or not. Maybe he needs some antibiotics. That's Brian. Who's this one?
Duck.
Hello, Duck. Good boy. Good boy.
Despite Malcolm's best efforts, he was no match for a fleeing goose.
Now, that happened last night, and we actually brought him up towards the wall with some bread, so he does come back up.
A little more bread tempted Brian back towards the bank, where Malcolm lay in wait with a swan hook. All to no avail. Malcolm and Jeff were left to ponder their next move.
What are you going to grab him? Where's he roost? Does he actually stay here?
He actually sits on that island there. He's got a mate who's on the eggs.
Oh, right.
There, on the island there. I'm surprised she's not been up, but...
You always get in the boat when it's dark, you won't go far on them. Oh, there you go. It does move.
Oh!
Day's bar now.
Oh, right. That's a tawny owl, actually.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh my God. What are you doing?
Barn owls are white. Creamy white, yeah. What's the matter? Did you find him on the road or something?
I went to drop off a friend's brother's games kit and sort of found him on the pavement.
It's got an old break here. It's an old callous break. There. It's very thin. He's obviously had a broken wing and has managed in a fashion to eat and catch food, and I think it's caught up with him, quite honestly, because he's got a very, very huge callus on there. Whether he can actually fly, I don't know, but I mean, he's not doing anything at the moment. You can't tell whether he can use it properly or anything, but it's... Come back here, sweetheart. But it's an old break. I mean, it's so thick there compared to there. Look at that there and look at that. That there, it's real old break there, and I should think he's been coping, finding food and that, and he's just come to the end of his tether now, and I think he's fallen out of a tree and hurt his eye on the way. Very thin, much too light for a tawny owl.
Do you think he'll be right?
I don't know. Don't know. And he's got a very badly old broken wing, and whether he'll ever get out again into the wild, I don't know. But we'll see. We'll do our best for him.
And now back to Brian, the elusive Canada goose. Jeff and Malcolm had resorted to rowing across the lake in hot pursuit. Malcolm, unfortunately out of camera range, chased Brian the goose across a few fields and into a nearby farmyard, where at last he was able to finally catch him, and Jeff came to collect them.
What have you got there? One Canada goose. You know all the trouble you've caused, mister. You must have say. Do you? Well done, Mal. In you go. Let us a dance, didn't he? You okay to get in there?
It was a short car ride back to the house before Malcolm and Jeff were able to begin the task of removing the line from Brian's leg.
It's very dark, isn't he? Go on. Here he is. Can we bring him in to do it? So take the line off and have a good look at his leg. Brian, here we are.
Here we go. I don't know if these are going to be too.
Got a lot around this leg, which is the good leg, I think. Oh, yeah.
Is that blood coming from him or from...
Me, more than likely.
Oh, that's all right then.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's all out. Has it actually broken the skin there?
No, hasn't broken any skin. It's definitely swollen though. No, there's no broken skin. Can see no broken skin whatsoever.
That's what's caused the swelling,
Yeah.
It was now just a matter of taking him back to the waterside for release.
This is our big goose. Guess where I've been, he says.
In the next episode, we'll see how the hedgehog and her babies are getting on. We'll have an update on the badger, who seems to be making good progress. We'll see the arrival of some baby robins at the centre. And we'll be introduced to Nelson, a one-eyed ferret found wandering in a garden.
It was much more than going to space. It was extraordinary secret missions that heated up the Cold War. It was a journey that cost lives and altered the course of history. The Space Shuttle, Triumph and Tragedy, starts next Monday at 9 on Channel 5.
The biggest productions, legendary directors, the biggest stars, films made to perfection. Except at 1 hour, 34 minutes and 34 seconds, where you can see the gas canister in the chariot. Greatest ever movie blunders continues Wednesday at 9 on 5 Star.
Everybody, welcome to your Tuesday morning milkshake where we've got brand new 000A to come your way today, and there's also brand new Mophie. But first we're going to start off with Pepper, and she's off to a compost heap.
Mega Blocks. Every block tells a story. Milkshake, brought to you by Mega Blocks.
I'm Peppa Pig. This is my little brother George. This is Mummy Pig. And this is Daddy Pig. Peppa Pig. Compost.
Daddy Pig is making vegetable soup for lunch.
Daddy, can I help?
Thank you, Peppa. Can you clear away all these vegetable peelings?
OK.
Stop, Peppa. Vegetable peelings don't go in the normal bin. They go in this brown bin.
Ooh, banana.
That's right, George. It's a banana skin. And there are onions and carrots and all sorts of fruit and vegetable leftovers in here. Granny and Grandpa will like these.
Do Granny and Grandpa Pig eat potato peelings?
No, Peppa.
They're for Grandpa's garden. They help his plants grow.
Oh.
We can take these round there after lunch.
Oh, goody.
Mummy Pig, Peppa and George are taking the vegetable peelings over to Granny and Grandpa Pig's house.
We're here!
Hooray! Grandpa Pig, Papa Pig, we've got a special present for you.
Ah, vegetable peelings. Fantastic. My garden will like these.
Does your garden eat vegetables?
Oh, no, Peppa. These peelings are for my compost heap.
What's that?
I'll show you. Here it is.
It's a wooden box.
Yes, Peppa, but it's a very clever wooden box. I put these peelings in the top, and then out of the bottom comes lovely rich earth called compost.
How does it do that? Is it a magic box?
Oh, no, Peppa. I've got some little friends that give it some help.
Where?
In here. Look.
Ah, wriggly worms. Wiggle, wiggle.
The worms turn all the fruit and vegetables into compost.
Grandpa, can we find some more wriggly worms for your compost heap?
What a good idea.
Come on, George. Let's find some more wriggly worms. A wriggly worm. Wiggle, wiggle. You're a wiggly worm. You're a wiggly worm. How do you do? I love you. You're a wiggly worm.
Ha! Well done.
Be a good wiggly worm and turn it all into compost.
Then I can use the compost to...
I know. You put a seed in the ground, cover it in compost, and it grows into a tree.
Oh, yes, Peppa. And talking of trees, we'd better go and help Granny Pig. She's collecting fruit in the orchard.
What's the orchard?
It's where you find fruit trees. We've had this orchard since I was a little piggy.
Hello, Granny Pig. Candy egg.
Are you going to help me collect some apples?
Yes, Granny. Oh, the apples are too high up.
Don't worry, Peppa. Granny and Grandpa have a little trick to collect the apples.
Everybody hold on to the tree.